Hey, what is up you guys? It is Silver Sun here, and today I'm going to be giving you guys my review on One Punch Man Season 2, Episode 1. Alright, so this episode starts out with Saitama and Genos pretty much just walking throughout the city, and eventually Saitama notices this action figure of King, and he's all surprised and whatnot. This guy's pretty popular and such, and we eventually see him walking around in the background on his way to the store, trying to get this game that he wants to play. He's been waiting for that thing for like a while now, and on his way there, he runs into this big robot, and pretty much the robot's standing there threatening him, saying that he needs to analyze his powers and such at his max potential, so that he could get a good read on him and get some good research results and such. And so King's just like, okay, but just give me a few minutes and then we can fight. And then with that time he took, with that time he gave him, he pretty much ran off and hid in the bathroom because he doesn't know how to fight or anything like that. Even though he's a high rank in the Heroes Association, he's not able to really fight any monsters or anything like that. He's just a regular, normal guy basically. And pretty much while he's hiding, Saitama and Genos are pretty much within the vicinity, and instead of Saitama going in and just one-shotting the guy, Genos steps up and he starts fighting the big robot, and it was a pretty hard fight for him because he was pretty much fighting him throughout the whole episode, while Saitama was pretty much hanging out with King. Like basically, uh, Genos is fighting the robot. King runs all the way back home with his game so he can finally play it. And while he's playing it, Saitama just shows up, even though he's on the 22nd floor. He's like just standing right behind him, very stalkerish, like just smiling. It was it was really odd, but like kind of funny at the same time. If that makes any sense. But basically, Saitama's there in King's apartment, and he actually wants to play some video games with the guy. But before they can get to playing, this big bird monster just comes out of nowhere, and Saitama pretty much stops it with one hand. And King's just standing there all shocked and scared, like, what the heck's happening? Like, this is crazy. Why do I have all this bad luck and such? And while all that's going on through his head, Saitama's just talking to him like, oh, King, aren't you going to do anything? Aren't you going to fight back? You know, you're a high-ranked hero. Don't you think you should take care of this thing for us? And then he's pretty much just frozen, unable to do anything, and he's just thinking about what Saitama's saying and saying that he's a high-ranked hero when we all know that that's false. And he eventually has this flashback of Saitama. Uh, Saitama triggers it by telling him, "Is he okay?" And then that reminds him of when they first met, way back when Saitama actually had hair and stuff, and he was training to be a superhero. And pretty much King got slashed by this monster, and that's how he got the scar in his eye. And Saitama showed up. He beat the monster, and he was like, "Oh, are you okay?" and stuff like that. And so pretty much King remembers all that, and then he pretty much breaks down in tears from remembering all that. And then while that's all going on, Genos is still fighting this robot. The robot, like, he beats it at first, like he destroys like the outer shell of it, but on the inside there's like this smaller robot, and he continues to fight that one too, and he's shooting off all these lasers and stuff that he has to dodge throughout the city and whatnot. But eventually he does end up destroying the robot and bringing it back to his Dr. Cruceno, I believe is his name. I forgot, because I mean it's been a while since this show's been on air, since like the last 3 years or whatever. It's been a while, but basically he brings it back to him. And he's pretty much telling him like, oh, I need to get stronger. You know, I can't be at the current level I'm at now. I need to rank into the S class. You know, because last time Saitama pretty much told him that, you know, if he really wants to get good, he's gonna have to, you know, make his way to the top and stuff like that. And so that's what Jones is trying to do here. And oh my god, he got really messed up. Like half his freaking body was just like dismantled, just destroyed. Um, but basically, he's on that sort of path uh, with him, and then at the very end of this episode, we actually see Speed of Sound Sonic and Fubuki. They're pretty much looking for Saitama. Speed of Sound Sonic's in the Hero Association, but it's like they're recruiting not only heroes but villains as well to trying to save the Earth because there's still that prophecy that they had that the Earth was gonna be destroyed and whatnot in like the next few months or whatever. And so they got like all the heroes and villains pretty much in there, uh, discussing how they're gonna go about saving the world. And basically, Sonic leaves because all he's interested in is Saitama. Same with Fubuki. I don't quite remember um, what she wanted from him, but obviously she's on the lookout for him as well. And so basically, that's where the episode ends, more or less. I think it cuts back to King and Saitama a little bit, them just playing the video games and stuff like that. That was pretty fun. But as far as this whole episode goes, I thought it was better than I was expecting, especially from the trailers and whatnot. Like, I mean, everything they showed in the trailer was everything we saw in this episode. Basically, there was nothing like later on that came up that was different. I mean, the only thing that was really different from the trailer, as opposed to the episode, was Genesis' rocket punch he did. I remember the trailer; it looked so bland and boring, but in the actual episode, they fixed it up and it looked pretty good. But pretty much as far as the animation goes, while we're on the subject, it was okay. It wasn't great. Obviously, it's not gonna look like season one. Madhouse style or anything like that. But it it served its purpose. I mean, there wasn't too much action this time around. It was more character focused and story driven this time around, which is a bit surprising. But then again, I mean, it is season two and such, and I mean, we can't just spend all the time, with all these epic fights every episode and stuff like that. Sometimes you gotta flesh out these characters and story because it seems like, especially from the intro, that it's gonna be relying a bit more on the heroes and like everyone else involved in this, and not just Saitama, like how most of season one was. But basically, yeah, that's pretty much how the episode went. I thought the animation was pretty good, not anything too spectacular, but not anything too trashy. Just in the middle, average in my opinion. But I do like King. I like I like how he's just basically like Hercule from Dragon Ball Z. Like he's not really uh, an actual fighter, or another example could be Reagan from Mob Psycho 100. He's pretty much just a fake, a fraud. He's not an actual psychic. Same here. King's pretty much. I mean, he's not. I mean, like he. Well, yeah, he still is a fraud because pretty much he doesn't defeat any of the enemies and whatnot. He's pretty much just there after the fight's done and over with, and everybody just cheers him on like he did, like he actually did something. But that's obviously not the case. But yeah, I do like his inclusion into the story. Hopefully, he does something of worth later on. Maybe he actually does, you know, defeat a villain, at least one of the little smaller villains. You know what I mean? But yeah, I thought this episode was pretty good. Can't I'm not gonna say I can't wait for the next episode. I mean, I'm excited for it, but not anything too hyped about. Cause I don't believe they showed too much of a preview for the second episode. They did show Garo in this episode at the end, him looking at the posters and whatnot and such. But that was basically all we saw of him. So I have little detail or anything to really go off of based off of that. I'm pretty sure he's an important character from what I've heard. I think he's like the new antagonist this season, uh, but only time will tell. As far as this episode goes, I enjoyed it. Wasn't as good as the first episode, obviously, in season one, but it served its purpose, and I'm glad that this series is back. It's been a while, and I can't wait to see where they go in the direction of the story, and if they add any new characters or just bring back any recurring characters or anything of the sort. Can't wait to see it all unfold. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this review, guys. Tell me what you guys thought in the comment section down below, and until the next one, Silver Sun is out.